So now we come to my favorite part of the show where we get to know you a little bit. So I introduced you as a cop, and then a single mother, 3 kids, and seller, then deciding to help people. So it's the service approach. So what I want to know is, where and when did you get bitten by the service bug?
That's a good question. I wouldn't have said that it was, I don't know. I grew up in a very small rural town called Loveland, Colorado, and it's not so little anymore, but I had a fairly idyllic childhood. I was lucky enough to travel internationally with my parents and got the travel bug that way that I'm trying to pass on to my kids. But, I started learning Japanese. I took college level courses when I was still in junior high, or they call it middle school now. And, that was kind of the launch of just, this is not where I thought I was going to be. That's for sure. I thought I was going to be living overseas and speaking multiple languages and, be a digital nomad with my kids. And that just did not happen, right? Like life happens and you get blindsided a lot. But in general, I had a good upbringing, came from a family of entrepreneurs. My father was an electrical engineer. My mother was a real estate agent. And we had a good upbringing, I guess. And as soon as I got to college, I started learning languages. I picked up German as well, and I started to pick up Spanish, and all at once. And I thought that was a little overwhelming. But when the teacher said, if you can't roll your R's, I'm going to fail you, I said, I'm out. I'm out of Spanish. So I just stuck with Japanese and German, and I lived overseas in Germany for a time. And I became a cop and became a technical writer after that. And I worked for the government after that. And then I became a stay-at-home mom and homeschooled my kids. And when I found myself divorced, I realized I was single and had 3 kids under 7 and no marketable skills. So I had to start all over. At that point, I took an online course for how to sell on Amazon through what was called the Amazing Selling Machine. If anyone remembers that, I think it's just called Amazing now. But that was perfect for me. I started private labeling some products, and then rather quickly, probably too quickly, started developing my own products and patenting those. And I had a successful Kickstarter campaign, but very quickly realized I was in the position that a lot of sellers are, where you just keep throwing money into the business and you never get out. So as soon as I realized this was not going to put food on the table for me and the kids, I was out. And at that point, I started asking around, because now I had marketable skills. And I said, where are the pain points? And Amazon kept coming up. Everybody said, Amazon, Amazon, Amazon. So I started consulting. I haven't looked back.
Yeah, there's no shortage of pain when you work with Amazon.
That's right. That's right. So, now fortunately, I'm less emotionally involved in the businesses that I'm working on. So I can look at it in a rational, logical way that, a lot of brand owners and sellers cannot, because it's really, really difficult to deal with such an enormous bureaucratic machine as Amazon and not get frustrated, not get angry.
Yeah, I mean, I totally hear you. It's a whole different approach when you can approach the problem in front of you as a professional academically. Then the business owner who needs to now fix this, otherwise there's going to be cash flow problems. So it clouds your judgment, right? So you cannot really, and not to not mention the knowledge base that you need to have in order to fix it. It's always shifting, always changing. So it's very important to have somebody like you in your corner as a seller. So it's I always say this. Look, in the old days being, you know, very old time, long time ago, if you got sick, you would go to the doctor, and the doctor would examine you and then write you a prescription, and then you would be all set. Then it started to change. Today, if you have a headache, like chronic headache, you're gonna go, God knows how many tests, how many blood tests, how many urine tests, how many X-rays, if any, CAT scan, MRI. 4 different doctors will look at the. That's how it is. That's how Amazon is.
Yeah.
Everything has become a certain specialty. You want your ads, your listings, your optimization, pictures, videos, brand A+. I mean, find the right kind of person, and this particular area using flat files and the way you're doing it to kill basically 2 birds with 1 stone, right? It's usually doesn't exist. It's either one or the other. So in your case, obviously, it's both combined. So great.